Hello and welcome back. Today I wanted to do a review of something pretty new from Ripper Blades, and that is the Ripper Blades Unstable Photon Blade. Now I have done videos on Ripper Blades Unstable Blades before, and this is a very similar creature with a noticeable difference. This blade specifically is going to give me the ability to talk about something else, which is the 7/8 inch blades that Ripper offers. Now, just like a standard unstable pearl blade, this blade is a polycarbonate tube that Gary has etched with his lightning pattern. It's a very organic lightning pattern. Starts with some really broad strokes, some big thick lightning bolts that taper off into smaller little tendrils of lightning as it goes up the blade. So it's something that he's been working on for quite a while, and it's a very neat process. But a polycarbonate tube etched with lightning, with a film in it, and this is the pearl film, so it's kind of a pearlescent, interesting film. The difference between those and this one is this one he's using a piece of Photon Blade stock. Now, if you're not familiar with a Photon Blade, I did a video on this a while back, you can look it up, but basically you're dealing with a fluorescent dye in the blade, or in the plastic of or in the polycarbonate of the blade material, that basically takes any blue light wave and transforms it into a green light wave. It actually makes more light than it absorbs, and green is more visible anyways. So photon blades appear to be, and in fact are, brighter than what you can achieve with the LED, because the blade actually adds to the brightness by itself. So just to give you a look again here, this is a blue LED going through it right now. This is a green LED. You notice the difference in brightness? Blue, green. And then this is a red, which is more or less of a standard brightness. Okay, the red, the Photon Blade doesn't touch it. It just kind of makes it a sort of beigey color, dyes it a little bit, but it doesn't really touch the red light wave. The green, it's pretty neutral too, but since it's pretty close to a green color, it kind of augments it a little bit, just like green LED through a green day blade would. But the blue runs through the photon, runs through the fluorescent dye, and really pops with it. So Ripper has started etching his unstable blade pattern onto photon blades, which is a really great idea. Another thing about the photon blade is when you're running blue LEDs or any blend that includes blue, you end up with really nice tip illumination, because unlike a standard blade where there's nothing in the tip, it's got to try to conduct light, this, because of the fluorescence of it, is going to absorb that blue and spit out the green just like the rest of the blade. So, works like a photon blade, etched like a Ripper. Let me go ahead and give the camera a close-up of this. I'm going to run actually through it, I'm going to run a purple. So we get sort of this yellow look to it. So just like a standard photon blade, very bright. Unlike one of Ripper's other unstable blades, you notice it doesn't feature that ragged edge, at least not on camera. To the naked eye, it does, especially with a purple blend going through it. The inner core of this blade comes out as sort of a watermelon pink. The outside comes out as green, and that lightning pops as bright green. So you can't actually see that on camera very well. But you end up with a very interesting, complicated color palette if you're running something like a purple through this. Downside of a photon blade with this one, just like any other, if you want blue, you can't get it with this. It's going to take anything blue and it's going to turn it to not blue. So if you're a blue lightsaber fan, photon blades are not for you. If you're a green lightsaber fan, it's all about the photon blade. The other thing I wanted to talk about with this is some improvements that Ripper has made, or some new features that he's offered to the unstable blades in general. He used to either use unsecured film or glued-in film, just like everybody else. But lately, Ripper has started using a little piece of polycarbonate, like a piece of a smaller blade, as a stop that's sort of set in there to stop the film from coming out without having to glue it down so that the film becomes crinkled and twisted. Let me see if I can get you a good picture of that. Okay, so he started using a plug, and to my knowledge, he's the only person in the market who's using this right now. Also, this is a 7/8 blade, or 7/8 inch blade, which looks really nice on a lot of hilts, especially more delicate looking hilts. Ripper has installed an adapter to adapt it to a 1-inch blade socket. So if you've got a 7/8 inch blade set, like a Tiny Giant or a Kyojin, this would fit right in it. Otherwise, you ask him for an adapter, and he can adapt the 7/8 to the inch, so that you end up with a blade that will fit in your standard lightsaber, but have the narrow, more Rebels look of the thin, pointed lightsabers for kind of a different effect. It's still the same stock. I mean, you're either looking at mid-grade, mostly you're looking at mid-grade, but it's still a very durable stock. It's just narrower. So, Ripper Unstable Pearl Photon Blade. This is quickly becoming probably my favorite Ripper dueling blade. It's really hard to displace my regular red Unstable, but this is coming real close, especially in some of my hilts. Hopefully this has been of use to you. If it has, please join me back for more videos, and I'll see you next time.